Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Call
you
Call
sponsor.
your
Call you
sponsor.
sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
We're back. Hi, Misty.
Hey, Sam.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Shall we start with our primary purpose?
Yes.
Our
Primary purpose is for Misty and Sam to grow their friendship and maybe help others.
Maybe help others.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're doing this, and I'm just gonna throw out the thing that I've been on my mind a lot, because it is Sober October. Is that correct? Sobertober? I don't even.
Oh, I totally forgot. I think you're right.
Yeah, and so I think in celebration, I thought, what a great opportunity to just kind of visit like a step one situation. And so, you know, the it's a 12-step program. There are 12 of them. And, you know, it's advised to do them in order. And step one is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, there's a dash, and then that our lives had become unmanageable. And so I thought it could be wonderful to talk about our experience with powerlessness as well as unmanageability, both pre-recovery and post-program. Powerless. I think people have gone a little too out there with it, you know, where because of the way the literature is written, a lot of he and that type of kind of language, capital E.
Yeah.
Someone recently turned me on to the 12 Steps for Women or something, written by women, where it's, you know, it really addresses all of those concerns, you know, where it's like he and and you're powerless. And I guess, how would you define powerless as it's written in the step, and then has it expanded to other parts of your understanding?
That's a really good one. Let's see. So when I walk in and I saw powerless, what I saw was my thinking wasn't getting me to where I needed, and that I needed something outside of myself to get power from, and that it shouldn't be another person, place, or thing. And that it had to be this higher power. And I like Marianne Williamson says that God is will. Is that what it is? No, wait. Okay, will is thinking. So self-will is basically just me thinking. And God's will, God is love, will is thinking. So God's will is loving thoughts.
Oh.
So all I have to do to be in God's will is to take my thinking, say I'm powerless, and start thinking loving thoughts.
Got it. So it's interesting. So for me in this, you know, powerless over alcohol, like I couldn't have one. I can't have one. I usually have one, and then usually look for another if there isn't another immediately in front of me. And then I guess what I've also realized is this powerlessness over people. You know, people are going to do what they're going to do, and I get to choose what my reaction is. Yeah.
100%. As far as drinking, I remember coming in and telling my sponsor, because she was like, yeah, the first drink. And I'd hear in the meetings, the first drink. And I remember pulling her aside and going, hey, listen, for me, it's a third drink. It's not the first drink, because I can have that first drink. But that third drink is when I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to end up tonight. Or, you know, things go off the rails. And she said, so can you have the first drink and not have the third drink? And I said, no. And she goes, so it's the first drink.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right.
I love that. I wish somebody asked me that question because I said it was like a higher number. I think it was like 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever it was.
Right.
Before the blackout or whatever, and that is hilarious.
Right. And I've heard, one's too many and a bathtub full isn't enough and all of that. So yeah, there was a certain time where once I was dressed up and had the short skirt on and the heels and we had a drink in my hand, I was powerless over where you would find me the next day.
Yes.
And the way it shows up now is that when I'm heated or upset with someone or have something where I think is unfair, I tell myself I'm powerless over my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be true, but there is something we have called 11-step prayer and meditation, which can change my thinking and give me something where I'd be able to pause before that reaction.
That's really powerful. So, yes on everything. And I think the thing that I couldn't wrap my head around, and sometimes initially I hear people saying, oh, I'm powerless over my thoughts. And what helped me was that I'm powerless over the first one, which is usually the alcoholic, reactive, screw everything, whatever that initial habitual thought is. But I get to, I'm not powerless over if I choose to continue to think that.
Exactly.
You are saying I could choose a different thought.
Exactly. I've heard it said like the train, I'm not in control of what trains come in the station, like what thoughts come in my brain, but I do have power over which trains I jump on and take to the next city.
So good.
So good.
Yeah. I love that visual because I just get on the train and then I complain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying before about like being 20 minutes down the road and still thinking about the person that almost cut me off 2 miles ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How would you define unmanageability? Like, or what do you have an example of unmanageability pre-program, like getting sober, and then like a type of unmanageability now?
It's going to be really embarrassing when I say that they are the same thing. One of them, I mean, it was obviously to an extreme when I was out there, but Misty doesn't do admin. I'm not great with admin. So I'm not great with, I don't know, car registration, picking up my mail, taxes, all of these things. When I, making sure I pay the ticket, all of these things when I was out there, where when I walked in the doors and they're like, your life is unmanageable, there was a pile that was like as high as anything that seemed insurmountable. Like I was scared to get sober because of this huge pile of red tape and stuff I would need to do on my own. And I was scared to death of it. And I was like, I'd rather just keep drinking, thank you, than to confront all of this admin. And now here I am with decades of sobriety, and I get scared to check the mail. I get scared to go down there, even though we're not going to have the warrants, even though the car is registered, even though all of that, it still feels, I don't know what could be in there. I might not be able to manage it. It feels unmanageable. How about you?
So slightly different in the sense of stuff that was happening, like, getting evicted, being told by like an insurance, company for my electronic, devices that I can no longer claim any more lost or quote unquote lost or stolen or damaged phones. Right.
Right.
Stuff like that doesn't happen to me today. I don't know when the last time was I claimed, did an insurance claim for a phone, maybe like 2 versions ago, because it dropped, it fell off a bike, which was my bike. You know what I mean? Like, so there was that type of unmanageability when I was not working a program or in a program. And now the unmanageability, a lot of it for me is in my thinking, where it gets in my way of taking action or distracting me from taking action. Basically, it's like almost can be paralyzing, So, back to this thing where we started with Marion and this, like, I love that, like, the loving thought, because that is the last thing still that, that for me has become an active practice. You know this about me. It's literally every time I hear, can you be kind to yourself? It's like mind blown emoji. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, what? No, gotta like really push. Gotta really push and crack the whip, and pedal to the metal, and let's do this. That's like the energy that I'm used to,
Right. It's like, surely the answer is 40 more lashings.
Yeah.
It's not take my foot off my own neck. It can't be just love myself. That can't be the answer.
It can't be. That can't be the answer. How is that going to work? Wear it like a loose garment? No.
We need a tight mesh. I need to feel pain, and then I'm probably doing it right.
Yeah, no pain, no gain, right? And then it will never be enough, actually, is my thing, right? Because perfectionist mom, it's like, it's never going to be good enough.
Well, that's the thing. There's no there. So I can either try and get through this imaginary there with excruciating pain and beating myself up the whole way, or wearing a loose garment, because there is no there. So either way, it's my choice.
I think that for me is like number one on the unmanageability piece, right? It's like, I think, my first sponsor always used to say that, he used to say, Sam, it took you this long to get into the forest. It's going to take some time,
Right.
I was wanting to get there, right? I was wanting to finish, I was wanting to achieve something, right? And it has been a slow unraveling process that is not linear. And sometimes the progress looks better, I guess, than other times,
Yeah, I got it.
Tell me more.
Slow sobriety, right?
Yeah.
And I just heard in a meeting yesterday, a lot of people talking about being in the hallway and how dark and scary it is in the hallway, and how, when one door closes, a window opens, all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And as they were saying it, all I could think of is, but the hallway is where the magic happens. And then I thought, well, we're in this dark hallway. There's like outside of it, all this magic happening. And then I had this analogy, and I've told it to 3 people so far, and nobody understands what I'm talking about. So let me try again.
Okay.
And it's fine. Have you ever seen those tumblers? I mean, of course, you've seen the tumblers that everybody drinks out of with the straws, the plastic ones, and they have like glitter all in them and so forth, right?
Yes.
There's a whole like TikTok rabbit hole of these women that do these, and they spin the tumbler around in a tumbler spinner, and they decorate it with all the glitter as it's spinning around.
Oh.
And then they put the resin on top of it. Right?
Okay.
And I was like, that's the hallway. The hallway is, we're in the tumbler, right? It's going around, it's dark, but outside, all this glitter is being sprinkled on it.
Oh, wow.
God's doing all this magic while we're in that hallway, and that's the only place it can happen. Like, it doesn't happen when we're on the other side of it. That's not where the magic happens. That's not where the lessons are. We're on the other side. It doesn't happen before we go into it, because that's when we're ignorance is bliss. It's
okay, so I get this.
The hallway.
So we're really in the tumbler.
Yes. We're
That's
in,
the hallway. We're in the tumbler. We've moved on.
we are
Tumbler.
spinning in a dark tumbler, and no
In
wonder
dark
we're fucking
tumbler.
scared. Yeah.
A emotional support bottle with a plastic straw, which I can't wrap my head around it. But yes, I'm in the tumbler. I do not like being in the tumbler.
Nobody likes being in the tumbler. The tumbler sucks, but that's where the magic is happening.
Okay, so I'm gonna, everyone loves numbers. So what are 3 tools or 3 practices or 3 whatever that you find useful in the tumbler, aka formerly known as the hallway?
Call your sponsor.
Call you sponsor.
Your sponsor.
Call you
Call
sponsor.
your
Call you
sponsor.
sponsor. Call you.
Bitch, call your sponsor.
Call your sponsor. Call your sponsor.
New episode tomorrow. Send us an email bcysponsor@gmail.com.